back to Podluck.
Oh, yeah.
Back to
Try that
Podluck.
again.
Okay, so this is going to be me making a couple of inferences here because I'm a fan of James Gunn's work that he did on the Suicide Squad.
yeah.
I understand that I am in company of people who have not seen that movie, but if you were ever forced to
Suicide
see
Squad.
the new one,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Very, very good compared to the first one from 2016, which was just a glorified, horrible music video. Through no fault of David Ayer, the studio chopped it up, and it's proof as to why Warner Brothers suffered heavily from not having good leadership. But it's saying that Viola Davis is in talks for a Suicide Squad spin-off series on HBO Max. Amanda Waller will be back in her own show, which won't be as goofy as the Peacemaker series starring John Cena. That's true because that character is inherently not funny. She's actually portrayed as one of the most terrifying people in DC because she's just very, very manipulative, power hungry, and
An ambitious woman.
ambitious, politically expedient and intelligent, and a ruthless disregard for the people that she sees as pawns on a chessboard rather than. So she doesn't have to be physically imposing. I mean, she actually is. They call her in the comics. She's actually called the Wall. She's Viola Davis is tiny compared to what the character's portrayed like.
Interesting.
She's her stature is imposing in the. I should have pulled it up. There's a very famous panel of her lecturing Batman, where it's a one shot from the side. She's up, looking up at Batman, and he looks really not scared, but kind of nervous.
Yeah.
By Amanda Waller. So that's it's she's supposed to look like that.
They can do some strategic camera angles,
Yeah.
maybe.
But Viola Davis pulls it off through sheer it's the way she acts with her eyes.
Amanda Waller is 5'1". That's why.
Yeah.
She's tiny.
But in the comics, she's wide.
Right.
So she's that's the Wall. But
Yeah.
it's there's that famous one. She's lecturing Batman, and I love that concept. But Viola Davis does that through her eyes. She acts that role with extremely dead eyes of somebody who would absolutely use characters like criminals as chess pieces to achieve her own political ends.
That's great.
Of protecting America by any means necessary. So it says the details include that Davis, who is an Oscar-winning actress, will star and executive produce, and it's also said that the series won't be as goofy as Peacemaker. It wouldn't make sense to do it goofy. It would feel out of character. Her she plays in those movies. She's kind of the straight man to everybody else. All the people who are members of the Suicide Squad are ridiculous criminals with names like Polka Dot Man and Deadshot. They're ridiculous people.
They're cartoonish.
They're cartoonish villains.
Cartoon characters.
She plays it straight, which is it kind of adds to how terrifying she is.
I don't know. I saw this tweet that says she's the least interesting character in the Suicide Squad universe.
It would have. They're not wrong about the other characters are so animated and over the top that it's easy to want to. You'll just have to change the context, the nature of the show, meaning that it will have to be more spy political thriller than goofy superhero villain shoot 'em up story. Right. The beauty of James Gunn's Suicide Squad movies, it took these. What he does very well is he takes very ridiculous, over the top characters and themes and finds a way to inject a lot of heart into them.
Right.
Which is why it works. I sung the praises of this movie. Of the Suicide Squad sequel to the moon because nobody saw it. They named it The Suicide Squad after the first one was called Suicide Squad. They clearly had no high hopes for it.
Right.
He finds a very good way of making these cartoonishly evil people have very human moments.
Yeah.
He would have to change his approach with her to make it more of
she has cartoonishly evil moments.
She will be almost cartoonishly stoic and evil, and the people around her will have to inject. So now the question is, do you make her grow? Does she become a better person? I don't think that really fits with the character. She shouldn't come out making her a better person. They also used in the Peacemaker TV show has the character of Adebayo, who is her daughter, who you don't learn. I mean, everyone knew that that's who she was, but you don't find out till the end. You kind of, no, never mind. They talk about it. You knew early on, but the rest of the team does not know until later on in the series. So we'll see where this goes. I do think it could work. I think that James Gunn would have to kind of limit his need for over the topness. I don't know what he's going to do. He loves to put
Scale it back.
his crazy music in there. I don't know how you do that with her.
He's great. I appreciate James Gunn quite a bit.
Especially if you're okay with the creepy tweets from 10 years ago.
I'm not cool with that.
Not really either.
Twitter was like somebody pointed out.
It was a wild, wild west back then.
So a lot of people point out.
But that
I'm not excusing it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it was a
there's
different,
a limit
different time.
to.
So
Have you seen the tweets?
Yeah.
Okay.
yes, so it says a lot of the number one thing they point out is that Viola Davis is a fantastic actress, and she is, and she should be given the opportunity. Like, I don't know if you guys ever saw How to Get Away with Murder. Mm-mm. The first 3 seasons of How to Get Away with Murder are very, very good, and that's like on the lower, like that's just her TV work. Her other work is very, very good. So she could actually, like, one of the things that they have to worry about is like having people that have the charisma to lead, and this is a role that requires a unique type of charisma, meaning it can't be John Cena over the top or Will Smith over the top. It has to be nuanced and kind of stoic, which requires a lot of screen presence, which I do believe she has.
My first impression of her was just her getting made fun of for the First Lady.
Yeah,
she did.
Yeah,
and maybe she needs to redeem herself.
I liked her in The Help. I thought she was great in The Help.
I didn't see that.
She was in The Help? I didn't know that. I like that movie.
Yeah, she's great.
So, I mean, I do think that the people have who say that she's the least interesting character. They're like, they have their own perspective. They go to that for the slapstick type stuff. That's not the most interesting stuff to me.
Right.
So,
Same.
Lady Gaga, they're worried for her.
Oh no.
The people. Apparently, the other day I realized that people hate Scientologists even more than they did before. I kind of was here like, look.
I feel like that's one thing everyone should be able to agree on.
Everyone. I was like, look,
bipartisan.
I don't care about Scientology, but I'm also like, I don't care about people who I don't care about. Like, if you want to be a Jehovah's Witness, be a Jehovah's Witness. If you want to be a Scientology,
care because they literally abuse people.
That's
like,
true. Yeah, I don't.
You
like
can't
that.
just be live and let live when that's not what they're doing.
I like. Is this was this proven? Like I said, I'm ignorant to this subject. Is that proven? Like they went.
I mean, I'm no expert on it, but it's pretty well known.
But clearly, it's a cult. People have problems with cults.
Yeah,
I get it.
I sure do.
That's for me. This is one of those things where it's like I was so enamored by the fact that this lady's like, look, I don't want people judging my work based on my. I'm sure she would call it a religion. We call it a cult. They call it a religion.
Yeah.
Like I'm so used to people being like, if you don't like my politics, don't watch my movies and don't buy my books. Which is to me, it's like, can you imagine being like a filmmaker, right? You spend years getting the financing. The producers shell out all this money to get this movie made, and then the star of your movie is like, if you don't like it, don't go see it.
Well, really, it should be like, if it makes you that uncomfortable, use your own discretion and don't watch something that upsets you.
Yeah.
But it's you that's the problem.
So it says, Lady Gaga has snapped a photo with Hollywood leading actor Tom Cruise, which has some fans worried that he's trying to lure her into Scientology.
See, this is what I'm saying. People's first impressions of Tom Cruise and his name do involve Scientology.
Yep.
Maybe not you, Brett, but like that's the first thing I think of whenever someone mentions.
I think of the couch incident, and I think of Mission Impossible and Top Gun.
Yeah, me too.
And
I mean, I think of Top Gun and I think of Scientology.
I think of how short he is
and
his weird teeth.
And I think of
his asymmetrical veneers.
Asymmetrical teeth, yeah.
I just feel like he's gone through like phases in Hollywood where like he's out, then he's in, then he's out, then he's in. But I just don't think of Scientology. I just maybe that's just
well,
me.
You will now.
Yeah, now I'm not. This is all your guys' fault. Now I'm not going to be able to think of anything else. So she wrote, "Thank you for coming to the show last night. I love you, my friend Tom Cruise, at Tom Cruise. While some were thrilled over the unexpected friendship, many fans were worried that the 59-year-old actor is trying to recruit the singer."
Lady Gaga has autonomy. She can do whatever she wants.
Exactly.
She would be wise before dabbling in Scientology because she has to know the Leah Remini story and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
That's
it's
basically
like it says one person wrote, "Please don't because Lady Scientology." I think they meant don't become Lady Scientology. Another user commented, "Don't let him recruit you, babe."
Yeah, see?
That's weird that they call her like.
Babe.
I don't like. There's people who I know where I still feel weird about referring to
Well,
them.
it's a condescension thing. It's like calling you honey or sweetie while you're
Like,
I don't
fighting
know.
with
The
someone.
over friendliness with celebrities is weird.
I sent a
agree.
message to Michaela Peterson yesterday about this video that I found of
It's
Sonic. Did you watch that one where he talks
Yeah,
about Peter
yeah.
Stone, calls Sonic a beta male?
Petersonian
And
principles.
they call it Petersonian
Archetypal
principles.
stuff.
And I sent that to her, and then I was talking to somebody else about it. And I sent it to Michaela Peterson because I know her, but I don't know her well enough to refer to her by just a first name
Michaela,
in
yeah.
third party company. So it's so weird when these people feel like they have these weird connected relationships with celebrities.
Lady Gaga has really gone out of her way to be like, oh, my little monsters, blah, blah, blah. So she's
Yeah.
very much like at home with that weird, gross, sticky, over friendly stuff.
We were watching. She was watching an old Lonely Island video the other day. The Throw It on the Ground,
Creep.
and I know I had you play Creep. You played through it on the ground.
I love
But
Creep,
I was watching. There's one for that he does with like P Diddy, and
Ryan Reynolds?
and no.
No, that was later in the video.
It's the one where they're in like a nightclub, and it's got Robin, the singer Robin from the 90s.
Really?
But in the beginning, it has this scene where he talks about his best friends, like, "Yo, Diddy, we're best friends, but I don't like clubs." I'm like, these two probably know each other kind of, but people love the idea of celebrities being like best friends. It's really weird.
Sometimes they are.
Like maybe they are, but people love
it's
the idea.
usually fake for PR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
like
fascinates
fake
me.
beef, fake friendships. It's all fake.
It's all fake.
Yeah.
It's like
Because
the
they're all part of a club and we're not in
That's
it.
right.
Exactly.
So cool.
So hopefully Lady Gaga will not go to Scientology.
She's smart.
Dallas Sonia was talking about how her new song slaps
Oh, yeah.
on Instagram.
It's really funny.
She's doing the theme song to Top Gun, to the new
Oh,
Top. That's why
cool.
they're even
Okay.
interacting
Oh,
here.
I see.
Uh,
They're working together.
Yes.
I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Yeah.
She's
that's
smart.
So we'll see where that goes. But Dallas is like, yeah, he's like loves the song because he can't wait to see Top
That's
Gun.
really funny.
I can't either. I'm very excited to see Top Gun.
Throwback for sure.
All right. Sharon Osbourne to headline docu-series for Fox Nation. I want to talk about this because I do truly believe that in the most hilariously opportunistic and capitalist sense, we are turning cancel culture into an economy.
Yes,
Into
let's
a
go.
product.
We are
Yeah,
turning it
itself.
into a product to sell people, and that's a good thing if you don't want people getting if you want people who are getting canceled to be able to work,
be fearless.
but you should be
Wait, could you refresh me on why Sharon Osbourne is now like a cancel culture
Bunch of
messiah?
bitchy coworkers.
because she
Pretty
had
much.
the temerity
yes. very
to
feminist.
to tell people that she didn't hate Piers Morgan, who she knew for like 20 years, because Piers Morgan had the temerity.
So
Am I
much
using temerity right?
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The gumption.
He had the nerve, the gall, the
Presumptive.
chutzpah
Yeah.
to question Meghan Markle over something
Yes.
on like, so he's like, I don't know if everything she said in that interview is true, and
She attacked Meghan Markle by proxy.
yeah,
of
Yep,
so that
yep.
made her
friends
Proxy
with
war.
Piers Morgan. So this just calls to mind the fact that like the cancel culture product is about how non-offending people are
Yeah.
getting unfairly dogpiled, which is a thing.
Right, definitely.
But real cancel culture is about when someone actually makes a mistake or actually offends people, and then they are depersoned.
it's kind
And
of
essentially, like, attempted murder happens.
it's kind of like false accusations against when we talk about assault. Like you said, talk about like every time that there's a false accusation against someone, it cheapens when actual victims come forward.
This is
and
kind of it.
that's kind of what it's in it. It's I'm not saying, like, I'm not
Also,
calling
like,
I'm
cancel culture isn't that you got hate comments.
No, it's
No.
not.
That's
It's
not
being
what it
done.
is.
It's
Like-
like your job being gone.
Yes.
it's a coordinated attack to get you to deperson you
know
from
what
society.
else?
Yes.
It's something that is perpetrated against normal people, not just celebrities. In fact, I would say more often ordinary people than celebrities, because celebrities usually have infinite job security because they themselves are their own brand or company.
Wasn't there something about like a guy who was it was like an what do you call it? Like an electrician had his arm out the window of a
Yeah,
car.
a Hispanic
and he was
electrician.
doing, and
He did
he
something
was,
like this.
He was doing like this, and somebody called his work
Yep.
and got the dude fired
Private
because
citizen.
they believed 4chan.
That girl who wore a kimono to her prom
Yep.
Yes.
and was blasted on the internet.
And people from the actual culture were like,
And people
this is
doxed
This
her.
is great. Yeah.
But
like-
people,
Cancel culture is something where there are like real consequences, and it attacks normal people who don't have an escape.
it's somebody like Rittenhouse not being able to go to college.
Someone whose
because,
only Google results for their full name are going to be that.
and that's like one of the things that a lot of the YouTube channels, like when I started like listening to this stuff in like early 2016, 2017, and when it started to creep into comics, right? They do this. Those articles get written where they label you as something, so that the first thing that comes up when your name gets searched on Google is something negative.
Evil.
And that is evil.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
freaking evil.
And
So-
like, I'm sorry, but for
Destroy
Sharon
you.
Osbourne, when you Google Sharon Osbourne, none of this comes up. It doesn't come up that she was friends with Piers
She didn't lose her
Morgan
job,
and
though.
blah, blah, blah happened.
Yeah.
well, no,
Lost
she
her job.
quit, right?
I don't blame her for
She
quitting.
quit
Good for
because
her.
she's like,
I'm
look,
just saying, like, there's choice involved.
True.
It
She had a little
wasn't-
more autonomy. And she is an Osborne.
This
for
is
Pete's
cancel
sake.
culture, the product, not the reality.
exactly. And I think that's something me and you will end up talking
That's
a
fair.
lot about, because
Yeah.
I think other people will start catching on, but the smart, savvy celebrities are going to use it as a brand. Piers Morgan is an early example of this. I would say that even Ricky Gervais used it as a brand to an
Right.
extent,
Yeah.
though his wasn't more about canceled. His was more about just being honest with yourself about jokes. He's more in line with Chappelle.
Anti-PC.
He's more in line with Chappelle than he is with Piers
Yeah,
Morgan.
right.
But in general, you have to start being wary that if you feel strongly about something, there will be a bright-faced, attractive celebrity somewhere trying to sell you it in a package.
Yeah.
And that's something you should be very, very
Capitalism.
They're
careful.
selling your misfortune back to you.
Or your fear of misfortune. Your
They're like
fear of...
regurgitating cancel culture and selling it to you as your gruel.
Yep. So that's something you
That's-
should... That's awful, right?
Yeah, I guess I didn't have to put it that viscerally, but it's true.
I feel like her being able to succeed with this is not really reassuring for the ordinary person, like the electrician who had his arm on his window. Like, he's not going to find that encouraging at all. She's a celebrity. Who cares? Like, good for her. Yay. I do appreciate what the Daily Wire is doing and giving people like Gina Carano, who actually was canceled, who they tried to bring in front of a freaking struggle session.
Yep.
That's very meaningful.
You ever
This,
going to
not
have
so much.
Gina Carano on?
We're going to have her on closer to when
Please.
her movie comes out this summer.
Good thing you have a pop culture host who would be
Yeah,
fantastic
That's
to
right.
be
That's
on-
a great idea. Yeah, we should bring her on with her for sure. Brett's like, yes,
Score.
I mean, I don't stand very often, but
she's great.
I'm so excited for
strikes
that
me as
movie
awesome.
review.
other
Yeah.
people are like, I stand with Gina Carano. I'm like, I stand for
stand.
Gina. I stand
So
for Gina
great.
Carano.
She's great.
I don't just stand for with her. I stand for her, and that's okay. So yes. I don't know if there's anywhere to go from here with something like this, because it's going to be a product now for the foreseeable
for sure.
future.
Yeah.
And so
And
just
we're gonna keep calling it out.
yes. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.